Hey, Rick Nahara here on KPFK. Welcome to Latino ThoughtMakers. I'm Rick Nahara. I have a very special guest tonight. It's Emilio Rivera. Emilio Rivera is a prime example of how turning one's life around can make dreams a reality. Growing up in a rough and impoverished neighborhood, Rivera turned to wild and reckless behavior during his teen and young adult years. However, he found the discipline and true passion through the art of acting. After years of hard work and perseverance, he has become a well-known name in this industry. His resume continues to grow. A few of Emilio's most notable films include Steven Soderbergh's award-winning film Traffic, David Ayer's Street Kings with Keanu Reeves, Forrest Whitaker, and Hugh Laurie. Rivera also played Paco, the hitman, in Michael Mann's Collaterals, starring opposite Jamie Foxx, Tom Cruise. He can be seen in F. Gary Gray's A Man's Apart, starring opposite Vin Diesel, High Crimes opposite Ashley Judd, Morgan Freeman, Water and Power. This man is, in short, amazing. He's had starring roles in Sons of Anarchy, and right now, he has also recurred heavily on Fox's series Gang Related and on Showtime's Weeds, among countless other appearances. But he's coming up with a really huge role. He's reprising his role from Sons of Anarchy. He's going to be in Mayans. He's going to be, what was the role of Mayans?
It's called the Mayans MC.
The Mayans MC. When I saw the MC, I thought, what was it, like an MC?
Motorcycle Club.
Motorcycle Club. Thank you. I was like, was he MCing something? What the heck?
No. The Mayans MC.
Yeah, Mayans MC. Rivera's hard work and dedication to his career allowed him to juggle recurring roles in both Amazon's Hands of God and Sci-Fi Channel, Zombie Apocalypse, Z Nation. He's an amazing man. Rivera's decision to learn from his past and pursue his passion has led to continued success and a promise of more to come in the future. His future is bright. He's definitely a Latino thought maker, and he has always been a part of the solution, never the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, Emilio Rivera.
Wow, thank you, Rick. I'm taking you with me on the road, brother. That was beautiful.
You deserve it all.
That was beautiful,
You deserve
bro.
it all. For me, it's great because I've known you how long?
25 years, brother. We did Latino Logs.
25 years you did Latino Logs, and the role you did was Slow Guy.
Slow Guy.
And tell us a little about Slow Guy.
I love Slow Guy. You wrote it was a great character you had written, and I remember reading it, and I thought, wow, like I know this guy. You know, I was running the streets back then as well, but I was more not that slow. You dig?
No.
But
you had to be faster to survive.
You had to be. But I knew a couple of those guys, and I just wanted to give that guy give him his voice. You dig?
Yeah.
Between what I learned, and what you wrote, it worked out really nice.
It was, it's beautiful when I get an actor who brings so much to the role that I just go, you bring it to the next level, and that's what every writer wants.
Thank you, bro.
We want the actor to sit there and give me your taste, your spin on something, and you came from that world.
Yeah,
I mean,
bro,
I was playing Slow Guy,
right.
gangster type, and I grew up in San Diego, so my gangsterness is
a little bit different.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
I was a surfer.
There's still some gangster guys over there, bro. I see some low-riding surfboards over there, bro.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, my family came from Barrio Logan. So
well, there you go.
Oh my.
That's legit right there, bro.
Totally legit. My grandfather was, raised fighting cocks, all that kind of world, and then my mother moved us to Barrio La Mesa. So I went from Logan Heights to La Mesa, which is, and going back in the acting days, we both were talking about that, is a lot of people, our families are surprised what we do.
Right.
I mean, your father.
Well, it was just a dream, bro. It was. I remember the first time I saw a Chicano, Mexican, Latino, whatever you want to call, on TV was a movie called Cowboys with John Wayne. And who it was?
A. Martinez.
And I remember I did a play when I was in third grade, and I was a big time stutterer, bro. I still stutter, but I stuttered like that kind of stuff, you know. And I remember I did a play when I was in third grade, and I didn't stutter not one time because I knew what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I was so proud of that. You dig?
Yeah.
And I went home and told my dad, I want to be an actor, And he's going, that's for rich white people. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I remember watching the Cowboys when it came out, and I saw A. Martinez. I was like, well, look, there's a Mexican on TV.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, but there's only one cabron. Forget about it.
That's right. Well, it's like me. I saw, it was a High Chaparral. It was an old show as a kid, and it would play reruns. Henry Darrow was playing Manolito, and he was a Mexican. And when you see that, it's when you can see yourself on camera, stage, then you're included in the picture.
Right.
You know,
right.
that's game changing. I remember seeing Morgan Freeman as a president in a movie, and I'm going, he's a black man, he's president.
And it happened.
And it happened. And then I'll turn around, all of a sudden Obama's up there. And we don't, the Annenberg study came out, and USC study, and said we've dropped in our presence on film. You know, they're not seeing us. And I look at that, and I know you do too. You go, would you buy a color TV with only one color on it?
No.
You know, we got our flavor is necessary.
But you know, right now, you know, because I've been getting a lot of stuff, you know, sent to me and to read and see if I like it or not. And brother, we're coming deep right now, bro. Mm-hmm. They're writing so much good stuff for us. Some not as good as others, but you know what? They're writing for us. You know, it's very important.
Yeah.
You know? I just got three scripts. It's all Mexicano, bro. It's pretty badass, you know. Or you know, Latino, whatever. You know, it's pretty nice, you know.
Well, I mean, what's happening now, and I think that is we're having more Latino writers. I mean, I was working on East Los High for Hulu.
Right. You guys did very well with that, man.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was writing that, and I've been at CBS now for almost 13 years with the diversity program.
Good for you, man.
And I'm seeing guys like you, and I remember when you'd only been 2 years in the game, right?
Yeah.
When you were doing Latino logs.
Exactly.
And you would get really mad, you know, and I used to always laugh at that because you were never mad at me. You were always mad at yourself.
Always at myself.
Always.
I've always been you know, because I'm an athlete. I was blessed to be a good athlete, and so I'm really, when you're like that, you're always like trying to be top of the game. You dig? Mm-hmm. So there's no room for everyone when you're playing ball, and for me, I take that into my acting career as well. So even though it's not against nobody, it has to be. I'm really, how do you say? I mean, my wife knows the way I work. You know, I'm at home and I'm rehearsing over and over until I find the right way of saying it, you know, the right pitch, or you know, and if I don't hit it when I'm doing the work, I get mad at myself. You dig? Because I know that's the way it should be said, you know, because I could say it this way, but this is the way it should be said in my head, you know.
But that's what an artist is. You know, what we do is, artists, we see a vision of how it should be done.
Exactly.
And so we can see how good it is and how it should be done, and we get mad because we're human. We can't do that, you know, and I'm not going to be all biblical right now, but I just remember in the Bible I read that, you know, it was like took a Bible literature class, and in it said, I read the first verse of Genesis, is that mankind and womankind were created in the image of God. So it's like, and it's like, God's a creator, we're creators, you know, and that's what we are. And artists are creators.
Right.
You know, we take stuff out of the air, voices we hear, stuff we write, characters you see, and our lives inform that. I mean, you came in with, you know, the character I wrote, A Slow Guy, with an authenticity that was, when you see a character blend with the actor, and the actor brings his personality in there, and his history, and his story, it's twice the power.
Well, because the writing was already there. The whole bit is hilarious. Mm. Now, because it's so funny, if you play it like the guy is a dummy, well, then it kind of kills the writing, you dig?
Yeah.
But if this guy's a stoic, you know, just straight on, thinking he's saying everything right, that makes sense, that's what makes it funny, bro. And you know what? I killed that night.
Oh, yeah, you killed.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even saying that to pat myself.
Comedy.
You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to play the opposite of what it is, you know? Not all the time, but most of the time, you know?
Well, I was telling you how the character came about. I was doing, you know, like all of us, we sometimes, you know, every Latino goes to that period where they're playing, you know, I went through my Cholo playing period. Now, here's a Shakespearean actor and coming to Hollywood, and we're filming in an area in East LA that was pretty tough. It's the White Fence area. It was
tough area, bro.
And so I'm down there, and I'm playing a gangbanger type in this movie, and I hear this, he ain't no gangbanger, he ain't no Cholo, this is going on, he ain't one of us. And I look up, and there's 10 members of White Fence Gang, and they're showing me their tattoos, and they're bringing their shirts up and all that. And I look at him, I turn to the one black security guard, who's low budget, like I said, and I said, if there's any trouble, you can me handle this? And he looks at me and goes, man, there's trouble, they pay me minimum wage, I'm out of here, Holmes.
I'm gone, homie.
He was gone. So I was like, I look at him, I said, hey, you guys want to take your picture with me? They all just became kids. It was like, hey, yeah, and they came down, and I got to know him. And, you know, I don't tell people this story. One time, my car broken down. I was trying to get a ride back to Pasadena. And I'm looking around, all the actors there. Hey, guys, anyone going to Pasadena? Anyone going to Pasadena? He was living in South Pass. And I hear this, we'll give you a ride. Yeah, we'll give you a ride.
That's sweet, man.
And it's all the White Fence guys.
Right, yeah.
And so I get in the car with them. I go, listen, no drive by, no drive nothing, no drive through. Just give me that Pasadena. I always remember
That's
this.
funny, bro.
And they took me there,
Yeah,
and I got to see them in a little bit different way. You know, you start to see people that you get past the stereotype, or you get past the label.
Well, the thing is, brother, you know, growing up in the neighborhood, you know, we're some of the loyalest guys there is, because in the streets, that's all you got, brother.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's your word, you know what I mean? And so it's your homeboys are your family.
Yeah.
And they'll treat you as, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Once you get part of that clique, you're good, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to be bad, bro. Shit, I mean, you belong to a gang, different colors. Shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we're having a good time, bro. You know what I'm talking about? You know, it's a family thing.
Oh, no, I look at it this way. I said the guys that have always had my back have been my homies. You know,
Right,
the
exactly.
guys that, you know, they've always been respectful to me. You know,
Right.
there's one thing is we recognize.
Exactly.
You know, we look and we go, we know people that are real, genuine, and that's something that, you know, you can't be taught in acting
Well,
class.
and you embrace that.
Yeah, you
because in the
embrace it.
business that we're in, you know, that's a lot of bullshit going on. You
Yeah.
dig what I'm saying, bro? And that's why I go do my work, and
Yeah.
I have my friends,
Yeah.
but I separate. I do my work and I go home. You dig?
Yeah.
Got a lot of bullshit running around, but you know, it's just part of the game, you know. And I learned that very
Mhm.
early in my career. You dig? And where I come from, you know, you can't bullshit, bro, because that bullshit could put you in a box. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know, I stay away from it. You know.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta be real, and you gotta be legit. And what's the thing is in Hollywood we're telling these stories, and sometimes the stories, you know, of course, there's a criminal element to it. That's the world we see a lot of
Right,
times,
right.
and things like that. But there's a dignity in acting and being an artist,
Right.
and what it is, and I've had a lot. You know, Danny Trejo's been on the show, and
Love Danny.
you know
Good
Danny,
guy. Yeah,
and
man.
what an incredible story. The
Yeah.
guy actually got into film by helping someone. That's the beauty. You know, you look at Danny Trejo, these are inspirational stories. And if you get past the label, the cholo, whatever
Right,
it is,
right.
and you look at the humanity there, that's the beauty. That's the part that's strong.
Well, we know what it is to be without, you dig?
Yeah.
Or not to have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when somebody would open their arms to you or give you something, and even though sometimes we wouldn't take it because we were too proud, it was a nice gesture. And you
Yeah.
know what? You would love that guy. You would love that. You would do anything for that guy for
Yeah.
what they try to do for you, you dig?
Yeah, it's like, you know, like a lot of times in our family, and I know we come from some tough families
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff like that. You told me a story about your dad, which I think you gotta tell me that story again. 'Cause
Which
it was
one, brother?
The one where your dad, you know, like a lot of dads, this is a lot of family, because, you know, your wife's Dominican, Puerto Rican, so they're very huggy people.
Right.
And there's certain Mexican families, we're not so huggy.
Not at all.
Not huggy,
Yeah,
and
not at all.
especially sometimes the men, because you gotta be so tough. And your father was a tough man.
He was a tough guy. You know, you weren't allowed to cry, bro. That's the thing is that
Yeah.
you cried, he'd give you a reason to cry. So
Mhm.
there was no crying in the house. There was no crying ever.
Yeah, I mean,
You could never show your feelings, you know.
You never did.
No, you couldn't. And then what's good is that when I got into acting, until I was 30 years old, I was allowed to cry. My mentor, my teacher said, you got to let that shit go. And, you know, once I started crying, bro, I was able to grow as a man.
Yeah.
Really, you know, because that other stuff didn't mean nothing, bro. You know, yeah, so I could be tough. I could watch something go down and not even worry about it. But you know what? It's so much better to feel, brother. You know, and then for what we do, you need to feel. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in
do.
touch with your feelings, you know?
I remember this really tough cholo guy that my family knew and I knew, and I remember my dad telling me a story. He said, you know, he never said the word beautiful.
Mm.
He's like, just say
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah.
He's like, no, man, I ain't gonna say beautiful. I ain't gonna say beautiful. And it's never said beautiful. And I thought about that. And I look at life, and you do too, and you look around, you go, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And
Life is beautiful.
Yeah.
Every day. Right, Mama? Everything is, I just, life alone, I look at my wife, I look at my boy, I look at my dogs, I go, that's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just simple
Yeah.
things, brother. You know what I mean?
and you know, it's really a spirit almost of gratitude.
Yeah.
It's gratitude, looking around, going,
Perfect way of saying it.
thank you.
Thank God every day, my brother. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a church-going guy, but I'm a God-fearing man, you know.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I know.
every day.
I mean, Danny Trejo the same way. Danny was involved in, it was a prison riot. He told me a story. He goes, I just looked up at God and I said, God, if you get me out of this, I'll say your name every day.
right.
And what a great example of a guy who every day gives back and is so loving. And I joke about it because Danny looks mean. He just naturally looks mean. I mean, just no, you can't imagine Danny, with a puppy.
But when before I got clean and sober, I got 27 years clean and sober now, and I remember I had been trying different ways of getting clean, and at the end, I couldn't find a way out, and I blasted God. I was like,
Yeah.
Where are you, man? If you're there, help. Where are you? Like ugly, bro. Like I was like, I'll go with the devil. I was that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And he cleaned me up, bro. You know what I mean? And the thing is, like, now anytime I'm on a platform or speaking or something, I always say, I thank God because I do. You know what I'm talking about? I don't go to no church and talk about it, but stuff like this gets out a lot more, you know what I'm saying? So I got to thank God every day, man.
Well, it's also realizing, and I think when you're artists, a lot of times people look at us as, these artists, this ego. Well, if you're really artists, you can't really have ego.
Very good. I love that.
You can't, because you're looking around going, hey, God's a creator. I'm a reflection of him or her, whoever will say what that power is, but we're creators too. But that creation, I look at Yosemite, I look at the world, I look at families, I look at, I think of some of the people. One of the shows we had, I get to hear Latino stories. I love it, and these aren't just Latino stories; these are human stories. These are other people too. And we had the treasurer of the United States was on the show. She told me a story.
Treasurer. Okay.
Yeah, treasurer. Rosario Marin. Yeah. Her name's on my bill.
Right. We met at the Latino ThoughtMakers.
Yeah, Latino ThoughtMakers back then. She was incredible. She told me about her child born with Down syndrome, and what she did as a mother to look after him. That got her into politics. Her love got her into politics. Because her child, she was the only Spanish-speaking woman in this group, and a lot of Latinos didn't know that there were services and there were opportunities for a child with Down syndrome. And that motivated her, and I started thinking about it. I think when we're motivated by love, we're motivated by helping people.
Right.
There's the big difference. That's what's lasting.
That's the best feeling, though, bro. You know what I'm talking about? It really is, bro. You know what I'm talking about? But with no intentions, what is going to come back my way? It just got to be genuine. And God will know that. People. I tell people that. Like, you know what? Just always give is what you can. And it'll come back tenfold. It really does. But don't do it because you think that's what's going to happen. No, it has to be genuine. Like you see somebody, you help them, and that's that. And without nothing in return. But it's really weird because it comes back. It's really weird, Rick. It's a trip.
It's the opportunity. It's like I look around. I go, everything happens for a reason. When I was writing the book Almost White about forced confessions of Latino in Hollywood, it starts off with me in a coma, and the truth is that I had that big accident. I was in a coma, and I remember I always felt this thing of, it was that moment where you go, God, you can either take me because this is painful, or keep me. And then he kept me. Yeah, and then it's weird. I call it the Lazarus syndrome. I come back from the dead, and I go, oh, I got to pay taxes? What the heck? And so, but that's the thing. It's that feeling of gratitude. And I remember you back in those days, and you've always been that good guy. You
Thank
really
you,
have.
You
were. And I know I always can call on you, and you can always call on me. And that's the part of the community that I don't think people see. That we're the Hollywood veteranos. We're the guys that
exactly. We've been through it all, bro.
Yeah, we've seen the ups and downs, and
I've
Cheech Marin directed me on Broadway, and I remember one day he's telling me he was going broke. He was saying, it was a really tough time, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying it. Yeah. But he said he got a residual check, and he says I was like a guy in the middle of the ocean about to drown, and that residual check came in. I hung on to it like a log. He said,
that's funny.
And it's like, and it really was great to have him tell me that, because what people don't understand, what we're doing, we go through the same thing other people do, and in Hollywood, you get your butt kicked a few times.
Yeah, man.
And but that makes you stronger.
But the thing is, like, you get your heart broken. My thing is, I've gotten my heart broken like 4 times, really good. And this is the one, man. And or this is the one that's taking me over the top, this and that. And then for some reason or another, it doesn't happen. You're just right there, and you're ready to go to set, and all of a sudden they pull the plug, and whoa, what happened there? You know what I'm saying? You already spent the money before you got it. That kind of stuff. And but you learn, and then you learn to not just continue living, and not jumping ahead, because I've done that a couple of times, and
we all have,
and it breaks your heart. It really breaks. It's like a breakup. You know what I'm talking about?
It's the weirdest thing. I mean, I know you've got those roles in your past, and I do too. I remember I was talking to Isai Morales the other day, Star La Bamba, and he's running for SAG president.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I wanted to support him, but we were talking, and I go, me and you screen tested together for La Bamba. We both signed the
is that,
contract.
yeah, you did,
As
huh?
I was, as
Oh,
Lou Diamond
shit.
Phillips got the role over me. But I tell you, I was like, it was a heartbreaker at the time.
Right.
But you look at it, and I actually went on a trip afterwards, and I went on this trip, and everyone knew I was up for the role. And they kept playing La Bamba with any restaurant we went
even
to.
worse.
And I was like, oh man,
Even worse.
It was like, oh, you're just digging that knife in.
Right.
But I mean, after the years and being in this business and seeing the people I've seen, it's all for a reason.
Right.
It's all for a reason.
Exactly. And it's always a setup for something else too, bro. I mean, my first heartbreak was early in my career, which made it a little bit made me tough early on. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then of course 10 years later another heartbreak, and then and some more recent, but yeah, it's I'm built for that now,
Yeah.
So it's just part of the gig.
And you've worked with some amazing people. I mean,
I've been blessed, bro. Yeah, I've been blessed, man.
and it always makes me happy to see you succeed.
Thank you, my
It
brother.
really does.
Thank you.
And I think there's a difference. I think we're both congratulators, and that's important.
Very important.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people, bro, is congratulate people and don't. And I tell everybody that I got run into is like the biggest thing, bro. Be happy for your fellow actor, man. You dig what I'm saying? Don't have no animosity. Don't hate, because you're too focused on what he's doing. You forget about what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to stay focused on yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying, brother? And you spend too much time, well, he got that, how come? Then you can't really focus what you got to do over here, bro.
Yeah, and you're not living.
Exactly.
That's the big thing, is you live in that moment, and you got to take time to look around. I mean, I remember this great director directed me, and he said, it was Jose Quintero. He's a Panamanian director, directed everyone on Broadway. Eugene O'Neill's work is incredible. Nice. I worked at the Taper with shows, Andy Garcia and different people in the cast. And one day he looks at me and goes, you should watch a spider make a web someday. And I was like, what the heck? I was like,
very good.
Like crazy Panamanian man talking to me about.
That's a very good analogy.
Yeah, because now I get it.
Right.
I was like, that kid back then didn't get it. But sometimes you got to just look at the world. Take that breath, take it in and look at a spider make a web. Sit on a beach, look at the waves coming on the beach, because we only get this once. And if you're not looking and enjoying the ride, because there's always being someone more richer than you or more famous or less. And that's not it. It's you. Because I really do think that God's almost talking to us and saying, this is your life. This is you. That's the thing as a writer. And I know this is, we say, who's the lead of this film? We're the leads of all our films. And if we're not looking at that and going, what am I doing? How am I existing in my life? How am I giving back? Really, reaching back and helping others. And you've been an example to so many people, especially, in the streets, East Los High, all that kind of world.
All the I try to help out with the of course, the street kids and the people in jails and stuff like that. But also even our fellow actors, bro, because other actors will call me, hey, what would you do about this? They ask me questions, and I'm an open book, bro. And I tell them from my experience or what I think is a good idea, but it's not saying it's the right idea, but I just tell you what I think, and they call out for my opinion, which I think is pretty cool, man.
It's very cool. It's like me. Just, I've directed so many actors and as a director and stuff, and I've been a mentor to many people, but I look at it and I go, when you teach, you're learning.
Exactly.
And if you're not big enough to go, I don't know all the answers. Like I'll tell actors, like they'll want to be directed by me or taught by me, and I said, I'm part of the answer. I'm one point of view.
Right.
Your job is to be the artist. Your job is to take my opinion, Emilio's opinion, other people's opinion, and in the end, chart your own course.
Exactly.
But you need that information, and you need to be humble enough to say, I don't know everything. And I think what I was saying is that, me and you both are ordinary guys. We happen to do some extraordinary things, but we're ordinary guys.
Right.
But I've noticed all the people I interview and talk to, persistence. And you're persistent.
Right.
It's not talent. It's not anything else. It's persistent. It's staying in the game, working on your material, working on yourself, and being persistent about it. And that's what you've done.
The thing, but at the same time, bro, I'm having the time of my life, Rick.
Yeah.
I really am, bro. I mean, I just came off a couple of films with some people that I've been wanting to work with for years because I've been a fan of theirs before I got into acting.
Yeah.
So now I get actually chop it up with them, and it's cool, bro. It's like, of course, I got to keep my, I can't be that like a starstruck guy
Yeah.
because I got to do my
You
work.
can't scream when they come on the
Yeah,
set.
but you know what? But exactly. So we do our thing, and then at the end I say, you know what, bro? I've been a fan of yours since so and so, and
Yeah.
I take them back 40 years, bro. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about? And it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's a trip. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like a little kid right now. I'm in my last quarter of my life, but I'm having the time of my life, bro. You know what I mean?
That's it, because you've learned those lessons. You've seen the world. I mean, I thought about how our community is in Hollywood, and a lot of people don't realize that. Is it no one's from Hollywood? Virtually anyone you meet's not from Hollywood.
Right.
They come from somewhere else. So we come here. We don't have family half the time.
Right.
So we make friends that become our family.
Right.
And I thought about that. I was telling someone recently. I was when I had an accident and I was in the hospital. 5:30 in the morning, I'm coming in for surgery, and I look over. There's Edward James Olmos walking in, and I go, Eddie, what are you doing here, Cedar Sinai? He goes, it's just in the neighborhood. I thought I'd come by, something like that. 5:30 in the morning, so it's not in the neighborhood.
Right.
And he's there with my kids, and he's reading to them and all that.
Wow.
And I thought, that's the community. We have a community. We have a family, and that's what we have to see. I mean, you've got this whole Mayans MC coming up.
Yeah.
And MC Mayans
Very proud of
MC.
that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, motorcycle club.
Yeah, and Eddie's in there as well.
I know. Was he playing the father?
He's playing the father of the two leads,
Yeah.
And first of all, before we go on with Eddie, I mean, I love Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie. I seen Eddie in Zeus when I was 17 years old at the Aquarius Theater,
Yeah.
and that was when I was doing my graduated days. And when I saw him, he taught me how to. I mean, it's not good or bad, but he taught me how to be a better gang member. You know what I'm talking about? But I've been in awe of that man and now we've become good friends. And I've sat with him, I've had dinner, I've told him, you know what, I took from you. I took from you and I learned from you. I watched you. I studied you.
Yeah.
And then he told me who he studied, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like Eddie told me a story. He goes, he was a rock and roll singer.
Yeah.
Whiskey A Go-Go, all the big places, Ben Gazzari's, whatever it is in Hollywood. And one day he's talking to me. He goes, it's just the guy from the Doors kept coming over and watching me perform. And I go, the guy from the Doors, and yeah, you know his name. Yeah. So I go, Jim Morrison?
Jim.
Yeah, he goes,
Morrison.
he goes, yeah. He goes, he's stealing my dance moves. And I'm like, this guy walks through history. It's like, and that's what we got to remember is our own collective history.
Right.
It's like, my cousin's married to Cesar Chavez's daughter.
Your cousin is?
Oh, yeah, David Villarino.
Okay.
He's board of Field. Field's a great organization. It helps out people in rural communities and educates. And one day with my kids, we go see the Cesar Chavez movie. And so my little son, Julian, turns to me. He's like, hey, the woman that America Ferrera plays, she's really good. And I go, that woman? I go, she's Helen Chavez, Cesar's wife. He goes, yeah, she's great. And I go, do you know Helen Chavez? And he goes, no. And I go, she was at a picnic with you last weekend. She's the one with the dog, little dog.
That's funny, bro.
And
wow, that's great.
That's the history we're
That's
talking about.
That's great, bro.
I mean, and I know people will look at sometimes and they'll say we're playing bad guys, but I think we're playing the truth.
Beautiful, Rick. Rick, the thing, on that, what you're hitting there on right there is like, when I first got into the game, I was looked down upon a lot of our peers because I played the bad guy a lot, and they say, you're showing us in a bad way, in a bad light, and I said, well, you know what, I'm working. I've never stopped working.
Yeah.
And then the thing is that I was a bad guy in real life. I was a waiter in real life. I was a lawn guy in real life.
Yeah.
So why couldn't I, instead of making $250 an hour, make $5,000 in a day?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even sweating. They're putting Evian water on me too.
Yeah.
Look that I'm sweating.
Danny Trejo, he's playing. It's like they told him his first job. They said, we really love those tattoos. You look like. Could you play a guy in prison? He goes, well, I've been in 4 prisons so far. I think I could do that.
Of course. And the thing is now is that I've played this guy. Now I'm playing cops on shows. They're writing me as a cop. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is just.
It's the evolution. That's what they're not saying.
Exactly.
It's
find your niche, though.
Yeah.
Find what you can do.
What you know.
Exactly. And eventually they'll say, oh, this guy can actually act, and then they start writing you different stuff. Now I'm doing some stuff that is not hard because it's Emilio the father. I'm a father, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Emilio the cop. Well, when I was a bad guy, I was always dealing with the cops, so I can play these cops. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool, bro. But just so that a lot of times just do the work. See, because I'm a nice guy in real life, and I play bad guys. But I know guys who play nice guys who are assholes in life. So I'd rather be this guy. You dig what I'm saying?
I directed so many people, and I got to tell you, it's It's the bad guys hate playing bad guys. It's the good guys that love playing bad guys.
You don't say,
Because it's like, I'm going, I would never say that to someone. I would never. And that's what it is actors, we go, I like to tell, my son acts in your family and all that world. And I go, act like a kid. People go, what does that mean? Act like a kid. The thing with the kid, they play the game and they don't doubt it. If it's like, and you look at it how a kid thinks, it's always about that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not right. And I love that innocence. I was watching a movie with my son, and there's like a Cromwell, and there's a beautiful film, and this actor's talking about, he's talking to Parliament. And my son says, where are the women? And I said, well, what do you mean, where are the women? He goes, there's no women there. Where are the women? And I said, well, there was no women there in that time in Parliament. Right. He goes, women weren't invented yet? And he said it innocently.
Exactly.
I go, no, women were there. There had to be women.
But that's what makes it, what I've learned over the years is that, and what I've heard from different coaches is that if we could all still be kids with the mind of kids, it'd make us the greatest actors, bro, because we just react to what it is. Mm-hmm. Whereas we're adults, we're trained to, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. So we got to break that before we act.
It's like you look at why do you watch a cat on stage crossing the stage over a person? The cat's alive. The cat just knows how to be a cat. What I've learned doing this stuff is that cat walking across the stage is alive. It's a cat. That's what it knows how to do. And I think an actor has to be that alive as well.
Exactly.
You have to know that world. And you're coming in these roles you play, and I know a lot of times people do say, well, are we perpetuating a stereotype? And I go, an actor has one job, is to act. I'm a writer, so my thing is, let me write. Right. So if the roles aren't good, then I've let you down. But if you don't act well, you've let me down.
Right.
So those are the things. We can't, and a lot of people don't realize, getting in the game, working in this business, can lead to other things. I look at CBS, and there's Les Moonves was a doorman. He's the CEO of CBS, a great man. At the Improv, he was a doorman at the Improv when someone told me the story. And one day he was an actor, and he told me. And I actually, we were talking one time, and I said, Les, I understood you used to be an actor when you started out in the business. And he goes, oh yeah, but I kind of do this thing better. And it was being CEO of CBS. So you go,
that's a nice gig, bro.
You got to
change, yeah.
So the question is he a failed actor or?
Right, yeah, exactly right.
It's like you don't know what's going to happen to you.
Right.
This is a process as an artist. If we make ourselves be artists, we might end up directing, we might end up writing, we might end up acting, and especially us as Latinos, because we work. That's one thing about our people. We work, and the same work that you're putting in your role. It's the exact same work you put in any job.
Exactly. But the thing is that we take a lot of pride in our work, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. And as a worker, just as a blue-collar guy, I took a lot of pride in what I did. And so now my job is, I'm not going to say easier, but it's not less so, it's not manual labor. So why can't I work just as hard? You dig what I'm saying? Because now I'm working with words, I'm working with feelings, I'm working with different things,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in it 110% all the time, brother. You know?
But also, sometimes it's easy, and that's okay.
No. I'm it's really weird. The past 5 years, because I've been blessed to be working a lot. It's just it's become very easy now.
Yeah.
It's kind, but see, it's kind of like I didn't want it to be easy because I always like a little challenge. You dig what I'm saying? But it is becoming a lot easier. Even like I tell my wife now, because she knows I've always been hard on with dialogue.
Yeah.
And like this past, I've been filming, and I'm doing like 8 pages, and like I'm knocking them out like 1 or 2 takes and I'm done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it just comes now. It's really weird.
It's almost like I don't know how you do it, but it's like you get it done and you move on to the next beat. Because that's how people live.
Right.
No one goes, I'm planning out what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
As an actor, you have to live in those moments.
Yeah.
Here's my moment, it's done. Move to the next moment. Move to the next moment. What you're not walking into, because, when I write monologues and the plays I've done and stuff, I've learned one thing. No one ever starts out telling a sad story. No one ever starts off going. Yeah. It's like the character you really love is the janitor character. That
beautiful character.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
He's a Dominican janitor, and telling people out there he's a Dominican janitor after 9/11, And he's on stage, and he comes out and says, "Oh, yeah, I'm just a janitor. That's all I am." And by the time it's done, he talks about after the first plane hit. He says, the second plane, and you realize what he's talking about.
Right.
He goes, "My big, beautiful buildings fell, and then all of a sudden, they were gone." And he talks about coming back the next day. And he goes, "I came back, and the police were there, and they go, 'You're not a policeman, you're not a fireman, you're not a rescuer. What are you doing here?' He goes, 'Sir, I'm a janitor, I clean. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I'll be here cleaning up this mess as long as it takes until I clean up this mess or until I find my wife.'"
Yeah, man.
And that audience is just,
It was
stunned.
so sad.
But it came from Carlos Gomez calling me up. And, he's an actor. He's one of the leads in The Heights. He played the father. And he was in Latino Logs.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Rick, we got to write something for Latinos about 9/11. And I said, "Carlos, Latinos, 9/11, I don't understand. I'd been watching them, English language television." And he said, "Turn on Univision." So I turned it on. Every story was about the workers up there, and the people working in the restaurant, up in the windows of the world, all that. And I felt we needed to say something about that.
I know, and I saw that play, and to me, and the whole production was beautiful, but that's the one that stuck in my mind, bro.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful, man.
And
It hit me.
Yeah.
I was even trying to, as an actor, I was driving home and I'm trying to recite some of his lines that he was doing.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful, man.
Yeah,
And that's what we do. You see a nice piece, you say, you have to say, "I wish I could have done that piece. I wish I could have done that piece."
It inspires you.
Yeah,
It inspires
exactly.
you. That's the thing is
And what you do is that you pick from there what was the best parts, and your next piece that you do, you incorporate some of that. That's what you do, bro. You
Yeah.
pick, you pick
Yeah.
and choose,
Latinos with us is, a lot of times is I say we're not the sleeping giant, we're the uninspired giant.
Right.
And I know you feel this way, and I do too, that we want to inspire people.
Yeah.
We want to inspire people to be more them. That's one thing when actors audition for me. I sometimes say, I didn't see you. And they go, "What do you mean?" I go, "I didn't see you. I didn't know who you were walking in that door. I didn't know anything about you. And I want to see it. When you walk on stage or you're on camera, I see you, I see the character, I see the work, I see all that stuff, and it becomes seamless." That's the amazing part about it. You're a living, breathing human being. And, some people that might complain, going, "Well, you're playing these gangsters and all this stuff." But I say you're playing the truth. You're playing people that are true, and that's your job as an actor.
Right.
And what you're doing is you're opening doors. What people don't see in Hollywood, and they don't realize how important it is for the idea of diversity, is in the old days during the gold rush days in California, they call it a foreign tax. So if you're a foreigner, which, and basically any Mexican there had been, if they consider foreigners, were taxed to go out in the gold fields and mine for gold. And I thought about it, is that there's always that kind of tax to hold us back.
Right.
And what it is this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, entertainment. We export that all over the world, and we need to be part of that story, and we need to be at the financial rewards of that story.
Right.
So when you put money into a Latino artist, and there was a famous study they did that you put into certain groups, that money goes back into our families, goes back into our communities. Latinos, we buy homes.
Right.
During the recession, the stocks went down, but they went back up again. We lost homes because as Latinos, we bought homes. We want to invest in the community. We want to be a part of that community, and that's so important. So it's hey, we're not only homeboys, we're homeowner boys, and we want to do that, and we want to invest back in our community, and that's the thing of what we're doing. We're giving back.
Yeah, bro.
So
Another thing too is also we cannot just take any. I'm not saying any gig, but we can't just take the quick money they try to offer us as well. You dig what I'm saying,
Yeah.
bro? You got to hold off, man. You got to show some dignity as well. You know what I'm talking about? Because otherwise we'll be always working skill plus 10.
Yeah.
That's not happening, bro. You gotta have that. No, I'm worth more than that.
Yeah.
If you're paying them that, I want that too.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We can't be the uninvited guest at a wedding. We can't walk in there going, "I don't know if I should be here. What do I say?"
And you know what? And that's the thing was like my first. I'll be honest with you. The first 15 years of my career, I always thought I was the uninvited guest. Even though I was coming in doing the work and doing good work for them. I didn't hang out. I didn't go stand by the director, the producers when they actually wanted me to come.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't really. In my head, I thought I didn't belong there because I thought I didn't belong there. I was just like, I was like the lucky guy, you dig?
Yeah.
And but now, I welcome them. They welcome me, and I welcome them, and we hug and we smoke a cigar together and just go have dinner, and it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And that's what and I'm running, and I'm loving it, bro.
Yeah, because you have what's great about you is you have a very strong presence on camera and off life, in life, all that world, but you got a great heart. People may not see that. Just like Danny Trejo, I'm always surprised. How people don't see that. Probably the sweetest man I've ever met is Danny Trejo.
He really is.
And you're a great guy as well. And that's what programs like this are about. Letting people know who we really are. And this is what the conversations are in Latino ThoughtMakers is. It's the conversation we have with our families, the conversations we have sitting down, and that's what they're not seeing. What the world isn't seeing about Latinos, especially in the media, they're not seeing us. They're not seeing who we are. And if you know Latinos, it's hard to hate us. It's hard. It's hard to hate us. If you know us, it's like, like I heard someone yell one time to me, they're like, go back to Mexico. And I'm like, I did. It's wonderful. It was a beautiful beach, great food. I loved it. It was fantastic.
Right.
And that's got to be the way we think. What you're doing is you're opening doors. What would you say, and when you think about it, what was your inspiration?
It's gonna probably sound shallow, Rick, but when I got clean and sober, I needed something to do because I had to do something because I had to be. I'm one of those guys that had like a ADD, I guess,
Yeah.
And I would watch movies and TV.
You had ADD?
Well, that's. I think about it now because I didn't know what I had when I was a kid. But
attention deficit. Yeah,
like, big time,
Yeah.
And the thing was, I've always liked movies and TV shows. So, and I would always see the bad guys, and I would think, that's not the way we do it. Like, I would always be like, they suck. I would always like down them. I would always like, that's not us, bro. I would always get mad. So I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. And I trained. I did theater, and I would play the roles opposite of who I was. You dig? And at the end, Hollywood said, no, you're this guy.
Sure.
And I paid the shit out of it because I was that guy, and in real life, and that's what it was. It's just that I wanted to show who we really are. Yeah, but see, some guys just really were so. It was terrible how they overacted, and I would think, dude, we would slap you in the street. Let me show you how it's done. Like we have, even though we were bad guys, we have a lot of dignity, bro.
Yeah.
We got morals, bro.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? And I brought that to the characters I play, and now they get good guys. I've trained so many of these guys from the streets to play these guys how we are in the streets. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be over the top because we're not like that. And now they're good out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wish people got to see really who we are off camera.
Yeah, bro.
Because you look at it and you
I
go,
mean, you might look hard because I remember when I used to have parties at my house, and it would be funny because it would be LAPD, my golf buddies, my guys from the streets, gang guys, and Hollywood, the actor friends, who were very well-known people, all in a big mixing bowl in my backyard.
Yeah.
Partying, eating barbacoa, whatever, And then the thing was, they would tell me, not my homeboys, but my police officer friends and my Hollywood friends were like, you know what, man? What they show on TV and what you guys are in real life, it's a whole different thing, man. You guys are beautiful. Even the cops would say that. You know what I'm talking about? Because they never really mingled. And it was good, man.
Yeah, once because it's like I remember, growing up and seeing a lot of tough guys, and I got to know them, because they were a family. We all of us have family that are cops and someone the other side of the law.
Right.
But we're family, and we're trying to work it out. We're trying to make things happen. And those are the stories that I love, where we get to see behind the curtain. We get to see the world. And I think if we look at our worlds, we're a lot more similar than different.
Right.
And that's what they're not seeing.
Of course, bro. When I first started doing theater, I would invite my homeboys from the barrio. I go, look, I want to be in this show. When you go to this theater, don't write on the walls, bro. Don't carve your name on the mirrors and stuff. This is nice places, And it was funny because the theater people that would normally go to the theater would walk in, and the whole back row would be all cholos, bro, right? So they'd be like, are we in the right place? And they were in the right place. And I exposed my neighborhood into the theater when they dug it, bro. It was a trip,
Oh, my grandfather, I remember my grandfather raised fighting cocks. He was a, boxer, a big man. from Chihuahua with blue eyes and just handsome, good man. He went and saw me in a play. I was in junior theater, and I had never seen him cry. He came up to me afterwards, tears in his eyes, and he just said, "I'm so proud of you." And, you know, we come from men that don't talk. They don't get teary-eyed. They don't talk. And for him to do that,
wow.
I will remember that forever, because I sat there and thought, I didn't know he had tear ducts.
Wow.
You know, and here he is, you know, tearing up and feeling a certain way.
Well, like my dad, when, you know, he never really took on to my acting. He thought it was a dream, you know, fake stuff, you know. Don't quit your day job. And I already quit my day job 10 years earlier, but I just couldn't tell him because I didn't want him to feel like he's not going to make it, you know.
I worry about you.
Exactly, you know. And then he saw me on TV a lot, never really said much. Then one night, about 2 in the morning, he calls me. He's a little bit buzzed. He's in Texas.
Yeah.
He goes, "Mijo." And I go, "Yeah, Dad." He goes, "I saw you tonight on that Walker, Texas Rangers show." He goes, "When you killed that teacher, I was so proud." He goes, "Because I've always hated my teachers, you know." And that was my thing. Like, hey, you know what? I did okay. You know what I'm saying?
That was your big hug.
That was my big hug. You know?
But, you know, I bet when you came back to Texas, you know, he probably did he have pictures of you everywhere?
You know what, man? You know, my dad never really told me how proud he was of me. But when he passed away, I went to go cremate him in San Antonio. And his brothers took me to every spot, you know, his drinking spot, his eating spot. Every spot was my picture there, bro. And all he ever talked about to those people was me. So it was beautiful. It really was, man. He was proud. He was proud.
I'm the same with my family. Sometimes, you know, I have a brother that I've never heard him say a good word to me, but everyone always tells me how proud he is of me and how he talks. And just talking to my Latino brothers and sisters out there, turn to your family member and tell him you love him. Give him a hug.
I just lost my brother, my closest brother, 9 days ago.
I'm so sorry.
Hardest thing in my life. We slept in the same bed till we were 11 and 12 years old, so we were tight, you know. And I was lucky to have him living with me the past couple of weeks, and that's one thing that we always were able to talk to each other, you know what I'm saying? Whether anybody, where we were in our lives, up or down, we were able to talk to each other. So you know what? That's a great, what you said right now, bro. Talk to your family members, man. You know? You never know.
Tell your family members you love them, and give them a hug, and we have to look at each other, and just. We're family. Yeah. Well,
I got before we change on to this song, I got my wife sitting here with me right now, and I gotta give her main props because she took care of my brother like that was his sister.
Yeah.
You know, like the best fucking nurse, the best cook, the best. I love you, baby. I love you forever for that.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
That is beautiful. It's the women in our lives, our family. That is what it means to be Latino. How we love each other.
Yeah, man.
And you know, that's the good thing about our family. And I got to tell you, I'm so proud to have you on the show, because you as a person, as a human, and the artist that you become, the artist you keep growing to be, you're one of our Latino thought makers, and you're one of the guys that are a big part of the solution. So big props to you. Thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Anytime,
I'm real proud to be part of this, you know. And she knows that, you know. So otherwise, we wouldn't be here, brother.
No, I know that you can't. To make this time, I know what the sacrifice you have to do, and I just want to say thank you. And 25 years we've known each other. That's amazing.
That's it, brother. Yeah, it's gonna be God willing another 25, my brother.
20, we'll be playing the guy in the
you'll be writing the stuff I'm doing all the time, bro.
I will definitely be doing that, brother. Definitely do that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick. Pleasure, man.
Latino ThoughtMakers.
That was good, huh?
Yeah, it flowed.
That flowed?
It fucking flowed, dude.
Oh, good.
I know. There's just like it flows so good, it's like almost scripted. You know,
I know.
So good, right?
I know. That's the thing is like I'm doing
good.
more of these, and I'm going. We got these stories to tell, you know, and you know, I gotta tell you, when Latinos talk, and this has happened before. Like I had Marco Antonio Regil on the show. He started talking about his mother, and it's just tears were coming down his eyes. And
Marco knows you right now?
No, Marco Antonio Regil. Do you know who he is, Marco? It's an actor.
Is he a Spanish actor?
Yeah, Spanish actor. He's very famous. And
the guy you were talking to, the actor that's in Mayans with me, you know, Antonio?
Oh, yeah, Antonio. He's great.
He has a great story.
Oh, yeah, no, I brought him on the show. An orphan? He lived in an orphanage.
We were at my house having dinner, him and my agent. You gotta come over and have some dinner. You're gonna love your cooking, bro.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway,
do you do lechon?
Oh, sí.
Big. Bro.
¿Cuál es pernil?
Oh, yeah.
No, you have no
De hecho,
idea.
Puerto Rican Dominicans ya pernil.
Yeah, see.
You have no idea.
Love that.
Well, we're 5 girls, so my mom, as soon as we were 10, she taught us how to cook old school way, where we make our own sofrito. Like, I don't buy powders and whatever. You have to, but you...
Forget about anything
Yeah.
she makes, bro. Done.
No, I can tell she's a good, loving woman. I can see that.
She's a good lady.
I think because we grew up tough. We had some, not many people.
Oh, and she's tough too. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know.
She can be tough with me as well.
No, I tell you, it's like
I'm tough in a different way.
different way.
Yeah.
I'm tough in a different way. Like, I was raised to have a lot of empathy. My parents would take us to orphanages.
Yeah,
When we
beautiful.
were little, we'd be like, why are we here, Mom? I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
And she would be like, because this is how you realize, my mom said, and my dad passed away last year, and basically his legacy in his eulogy was just basically, it doesn't matter what you accomplish or the riches that you can accomplish in life. The most important thing is a man of his word and a man that loves his family.
Yeah. No, that's it.
And my parents did always well for themselves, but I can tell you, all year round, everyone that they knew, we would have at least 2 rooms from our house that were always packed of clothes and packed. I'm like, are they hoarding? What are they doing? Yeah. And it's because they would send them to barrels, whether it's Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, and they're like, Mija, there's 2-year-olds are homeless.
Yeah.
So they would just go in trucks and taking the risk, because third world countries, people can just fight you or rob you for no reason.
Yeah.
But they'll just go in the streets and just start calling up on kids and just putting shoes and clothing them.
No, I did that.
Because my mom would always say, everybody, instead of just who you can collect money from, just do your part and just go ahead and do it.
We should do the Maestro Cares. A friend of mine who produces Mark Anthony, and I helped on Maestro Cares, and Susie did too. And we should go out there in New York. It's about helping orphanages. I went to Dominican Republic.
Nice.
And I saw his and Mark Anthony's now helping an orphanage, and he's
he's
got
been doing it
10.
for a
Yeah.
while,
And I look at that and I go,
I love that.
it's in the Bible. Look after orphans and widows in their distress. It's pretty simple. It's like, and I hate to say it, but I get more out of it than they do. It's like
they're just happy.
They're happy.
It doesn't even matter how poor or what they're gone through. They're just happy when you treat them nice.
Yeah, because you don't realize it's like you don't realize you're poor until you're next to a rich person.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew.
We just drove out to my neighborhood. I mean, I live in my neighborhood all my life. I bought my homes on my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I love my neighborhood. But today we passed by the other day, bro, because we had time to kill, about an hour. And I just drove up and down. I'm thinking, wow, that's where it's expensive. It's expensive to live here in Frogtown.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, it's so ugly, bro. It's really nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit about their stuff. It's really weird, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I always cared because my block was my block, and I had 4 homes, and my houses were always pristine because that's who I am.
You had seen more. That's what
But
it
now,
is.
seen more.
but in essence, I feel it was just like, we were rich.
Yeah.
But I go back, and even though it's so expensive to live there, I mean, my place is worth 1.9 now where I used to live at, right?
Wow.
Yeah, but it's the barrio. I mean, it's like nobody takes care of shit, bro.
I had Horatio Sands, who's SNL. He calls me up. He said, "Let's have lunch." And I said, "Where are we going to lunch?" He goes, "El Compadre." I go, "El Compadre on Sunset."
Sunset, yeah.
I go,
That's a lot of people
go there.
it wasn't like that when we were there. Remember, we had a show on Silver Lake, and it's like it was the hood. I mean, I had Cholo trying to shoot another Cholo running over my car, and I was sitting there, I would look at that and I go, but now they got homes that are expensive. They've gone up in price.
Bro.
But it's not that, I try to explain to my husband, it's not the actual homes that are expensive. It's that now they're trying to clean up
Make
the
like
area.
Silver Lake.
So they're trying to just buy everybody
A lot of
out.
hipsters, all hipsters.
I told them they're going to bulldoze all that stuff. Because
Yeah.
you're not paying for those homes are not even worth $500,000.
I passed by my houses, bro.
It's just the actual.
It is literally,
land.
yes, because I had 10,000 square feet of lot, but the houses, bro, I'm looking at them because I thought it was like 25 feet this way and 25 feet that way.
Yeah.
So what's that, 25 to 20, that's 500 square feet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I was tripping out, bro.
No, we just added onto our house.
Where do you live at, Rick?
Encino.
Oh, Encino's nice, bro.
Yeah,
That's
no,
really
it's
pretty.
That's
it's
nice. That's very nice. Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's where Opie lives.
Well,
really
Eddie almost lives like
Close
3
to
blocks away from
Sarsana.
me.
Oh, he
Close to
does?
Sarsana.
Yeah, that's part of it is just the history of being friends. You know, it's like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, well, when
A
you
lot of people, live in Torsana.
no, Carlos Mencia lives up the street, different people, and I mean, it's, you know, it's everything's gone up.
How long you been living there?
I've been there 13 years.
Good for you.
What
bro.
was it?
That shit's gone up like crazy.
Susie and I, when we met, we met in San Diego, and I remember taking her to Horton Plaza for our first date. So my parents went on their first date. So I go, it had to, you know, so I didn't realize it until later. I told my mom, she goes, oh, that was our first date. And you know, so I guess it was kind of meant to be. And so we were there, and then I wanted to get out of Hollywood. I'd sold 4 pilots and networks, and none of them got made. And I was like, and they kept saying, there's no Latinos, Rick. This isn't your time, whatever. I finally was like sick of it. I go, you know something? I'm going to Chicago. I'll do Latino logs, and I'll do that. And one night I come back to town to see my mom. My dad had passed away. And it was New Year's. And I remember, and she goes, it's New Year's. Go out and have fun. And I go, I don't know anyone in San Diego. Friend calls me up because we have a party. At the party, I met Susie. She'd gone by herself. I'd been by myself. And it worked, but when I got Mad TV, it was a show I was writing.
Yes. You did Mad TV, bro?
Yeah, I wrote
Love that show.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's right. Mad TV.
Fucking great show.
Living Color, Culture Class. I've written all these shows.
Peel in them, and then Juan Quickly, and Ezra Johnson, yeah. Wow,
Yes.
what a fucking cast, dude.
Yeah, it was a great cast. So I moved up to Encino, and it was Jimmy and Susie, so we bought a little place. And then, you know, it changed our, you know, what a difference. I really didn't think I was coming back to Hollywood, because I pretty much was like, I'm done. The way it's, you know, first of all, I can't play these roles because I'm faking playing a cholo. You know, that's, you know, and I'm not getting an award for it. So I should get an Oscar for that. It's the other guys I go, listen, you know, I don't know if you're getting an Oscar.
Perceptions to people are like, well, your husband's
good
on television.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he put you on that? I was like, I wouldn't even ask him, because I'm Puerto Rican. I would never play a cholo.
No, because you have the most important job, which is being a wife. I mean, people don't realize that. I look at Susie and I say the same thing. It's like I go. That's why I don't. You know, I'm not dating actresses, because it's like it's two people needing too much, and we need a stability, a home. We need you represent the love to us. That's what our wives are. It's like our mothers, you know, things like that. Women to us represent love. You know, we're outside, you know, killing and getting, you know, and dying, you know, and out there. And the life's tough. But you come home and that mother.
That's what makes everything good again.
It makes it good. I remember as a kid, my mom worked 5 jobs, and when she'd come home after working all these jobs, I just remember holding her and just so happy she was home. And that to me was love. That's the representation we need.
When I come home from work, brother, my wife, my son, and my dogs, they come to the door. It's the best feeling in the world.
Best feeling.
I'm hugging my wife, I'm hugging my boy, and I have the dogs trying to.
Yeah,
it's so funny. I can't hardly wait to get home.
My wife and I call it. It was a joke, because we hug. And the minute we hug, the kids all hug us. Wow. And we joke, we're love encroachers. They're encroaching. They're jumping in our love right now. Right? But we love it.
Of course, bro. It's beautiful.
That's
what it's all about, my brother.